Welcome to Lesson 3.5. Today we're going to talk simplifying expressions. Here are our learning objectives. Make sure you read these through, write them down before moving on. Here's our problem for the lesson. Make sure you pause the video and read this before moving on. We're going to start by talking about simplifying sums or differences of single variable expressions. So you already know that an expression shows how numbers and or variables are connected by operations such as adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. If an expression has only numbers, you can find its numerical value. However, if an expression includes variables and you do not know the values of those variables, you can simplify the expression. To simplify means to make smaller or simpler. So let's take a look at how to do that. If we have the expression 6a plus 3a, the important thing we're looking at here is the fact that they both have the same variable, a. So when that happens, we can take the two numbers and add those together and get 9, and then bring the a width along. So our 6a plus 3a is 9a. Then we have something like this, 6a plus 3. Now 6 has an a with it, but 3 doesn't. That means I can't add them together. So I have to leave it as 6a plus 3. I can only add them if they both have the same variable. Same thing with finding differences. As long as they have the same variable, which they do, they both have d, I can take the two numbers and subtract them. 15 minus 2 gives me 13. So 15d minus 2d is 13d. It even works with decimals. As long as I've got the same variable for both, I can take the numbers in front and add them together. 0.4 plus 1.3 is 1.7. So 0.4x plus 1.3x is going to give me 1.7x. Go ahead and pause the video and give these three a try, and then hit play and see how you did. So for the first one, 7y plus 2x, we do not have the same variable for both, so we can't add those together. So we have to leave it as 7y plus 2x. For the one in the middle, 3a plus 12a, they do both have the same variable. They both have a. So I can add the numbers together. 3 plus 12 is 15, so my answer is 15a. The one on the right, they have the same variables, 16x and 2x. They both have x, so I can subtract 16 minus 2 and get 14, giving me an answer of 14x. Before we go to the next part, remember when we were working with exponents, we can multiply variables together and add the exponents. So x times x is x squared, and x times x would be x cubed. So when we multiply variables together, we add the exponents. So now we're going to simplify products or quotients of single variable expressions. Now remember, products means multiply, quotients means divide. So when we add or subtract terms in an expression, we can only combine like terms. However, we can multiply or divide terms whether they're like or not. So for example, 6a and 3a are like terms because both terms have a in it. And we can multiply them together to simplify an expression like this. 6a times 3a is 18 times a times a, which is 18a squared. However, we could have 6a and 3, which are not like terms. We can still multiply them together. 6a times 3, you multiply the numbers together and get 18, and you bring a along with the ride. So the commutative and associative properties of multiplication may help understand how to multiply expressions with variables. Remember, the commutative property states that factors can be multiplied in any order. The associative property states that the grouping of factors does not matter. So if I have 5x times 8y, I can rewrite that so that the numbers are in front. So I've got 5 times 8 times x times y. 5 times 8 is 40. X and y aren't the same, so I can't combine them, so I'll have 40 times x times y, which we would write as 40xy. Now we have 4z times a half. Again, I can rewrite it so that the numbers are in front. So 4 times a half times z. 4 times a half is 2, and we still have that z there. So 2 times z, which we would say as 2z. Now when we're dividing, we divide our numbers first. 42 divided by 7, which again is the same as 42 divided by 7 here, and we would get 6. Now c doesn't have anything to divide it with because I can only divide c by another c. So c is just going to be along for the ride, and our answer is going to be 6c. Now we've got 50g divided by 10g, so I can divide the numbers. 50 divided by 10, it's going to get me 5. I do have a g to divide the g by, and anytime you divide something by itself, you're going to get 1. So I have 5 times 1, which gives me 5. Go ahead and pause the video, find the product or quotient for these three, and then hit play and see how you did. So for the first one, I divide the numbers. 15 divided by 5 is 3. I divide the b's. B divided by b is 1. Multiply those together at the end, and I get 3 for an answer. For the second one, I can rewrite that as 6 times 9 times a times a. 6 times 9 is 54. A times a, we can use our work with exponents from before. If I have two a's, I can rewrite that as a squared. So I would get 54a squared. For the last one, divide the numbers. 20 divided by 4 is 5. I don't have a c on the bottom to divide the top c by, so the c just gets brought down, and my answer is 5c. So now we're going to kind of combine all of that in the same problem. So we're going to be doing adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, all of that. Just remember your order of operations. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract in that order. So I have 7n plus 8n times 3. That little dot is the same as a multiplication. Okay, so if I go through my order of operations, there are no parentheses, there are no exponents. So I go to multiply and divide. I need to take 8n times 3. 8 times 3 times n. That gets me 24n. So I've got 7n plus 24n. There's no more multiplication or division. So I can go to add and subtract. I'm adding these two together. They have the same variable, so I can take 7 plus 24 and get 31. My answer is 31n. Okay, so now we've got 10p minus 7p plus 8p divided by 2p. Again, following our order of operations, there aren't any parentheses, there aren't any exponents. We do have multiplication or division. We've got this division problem right here. So we do 8 divided by 2, which is 4. P divided by p, which is 1. Multiply those together and you get just 4. So my problem now is 10p minus 7p plus 4. There's no more multiplying or dividing, so I can go to adding and subtracting from left to right. I've got 10p minus 7p. They have the same variable, so I can take 10 minus 7 and get 3. So my answer is going to be 3p, and I'm going to bring down that plus 4. So now if I try to add these together, you'll notice 3 has a p with it and 4 does not, so I can't add those together. I have to keep them separate, so my final answer would be 3p plus 4. Go ahead and pause the video and try these three on your own, and then hit play and see how you did. So for the first one, we don't have any parentheses or exponents or multiplication and division, so we can go ahead and add and subtract from left to right. So first off, we have 6b minus 2b. They both have b in it, so I can do 6 minus 2 and get 4, giving me an answer of 4b. So I got 4b plus 5b minus 8. 4b plus 5b, they both have a b again, so I can add them together. 4 plus 5 is 9, so 4b plus 5b is 9b, leaving me with 9b minus 8. I can't subtract those because 9 has a b with it and 8 doesn't, so I have to leave it as 9b minus 8. For the second one, I don't have parentheses, don't have exponents, but I do have a multiplication in there, so I do need to take 9a times 7 first, and I can rewrite that as 9 times 7 times a, giving me 63a. So I've got 4a plus 63a. They both have a with it, so I can add 4 and 63 to get 67. So 4a plus 63a is 67a. For the last one, again, no parentheses, no exponents, but I do have a division, 14x divided by 2. So I take 14 divided by 2 and get 7. 2 does not have an x with it, so x comes along for the ride. So 14x divided by 2 is 7x, so I have 7x plus 9x. They both have an x with it, so I can add them together. 7 plus 9 is 16, so 7x plus 9x is 16x. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at some real-world examples using these methods. So Samira has twice as many pets as Amit. Kyra has 4 times as many pets as Amit has. Let A represent the number of pets Amit has. So A is our variable here. So we're going to write an expression to represent the number of pets that Samira has. So if we look at this sentence right here, she has twice as many pets as Amit. So if Amit has a number of pets, Samira is going to have 2 times a amount. Write an expression for the number of pets Kyra has. So if we look at this part, Kyra has 4 times as many pets as Amit. So if Amit has a pets, Kyra has 4a pets. Write an expression to represent the number of pets Samira and Kyra have together. So we're going to take those two. We got Samira's pets and Kyra's pets. Since it's together, we're going to add them. They both have the same variable of a, so I can take 2 times 4 and get 6. So together, 2a plus 4a gives me 6a. Here's the finished off problem from the beginning. Go ahead and read through that before moving on. The only thing to review here, to simplify expressions, you can only combine like terms.